$10 million sounds like a blessing, right? Except when it paints a target on your back so big, the cops start showing up at your front gate every single week. That's what happened to me. I didn't inherit a fortune, I inherited a cabin on a patch of lakefront scrubland, and somehow it turned into a war zone. 15 years ago, my grandfather passed away and left me 15 acres by Lake Morrison. Back then, it was worth next to nothing. I was 27, drowning in student loans from architecture school, but the first night I slept there listening to the water slap against the dock, I knew I couldn't walk away. The place was falling apart, roof sagging. Dock half-submerged cabin, older than dirt, but it felt like home. So I fixed it up. Weekends turned into projects, a new roof, a rebuilt dock, solar panels, a chicken coop, a vegetable garden. 10 years of sweat and what once looked like junkyard property became a slice of sustainable paradise. For years, nobody cared. Then, Golden Shore Development showed up with their glossy brochures and bulldozers. Suddenly, my peaceful retreat was surrounded by million-dollar homes with manicured lawns, identical driveways, and HOA rules thicker than the Bible. My land sat right in the middle like a scar they couldn't cover. That's when Nine Coldwell arrived, president of the Lakeside Meadows HOA. She stepped out of a silver BMW one Tuesday morning, looking like she'd just walked out of a courtroom she never lost. Perfectly pressed suit, blonde bun wound so tight it could have cracked glass smile sharp enough to cut. She introduced herself like we were equals, then wasted no time. Your property doesn't fit the community vision. Translation, sell it. Her offer was $2.5 million. Sounded good until I remembered smaller lots were going for $4 million and mine was twice the size. I politely declined. Her smile didn't move, but her eyes they went cold. She left me her business card with a note on the back. This offer is time-sensitive. You'll regret refusing. Within a week, I came home to an envelope jammed in my doorframe. County Code Enforcement demanding inspection. A second letter from a private security service announcing routine monitoring. 7 days later, the circus rolled in County Vehicle Security SUV patrol car, and at the back, Nain herself, arms crossed like a director watching her play unfold. They cited everything: my chicken coop 3 inches too close to the fence, my solar panels improperly permitted, even my vegetable garden accused of polluting groundwater. $8,000 in fines in one afternoon. As the officers left, Nain smiled sweetly and said, "My offer still stands. Things could get complicated otherwise." I felt the walls closing in. Every week it was something new. Letters, visits, threats. Security guards prowling the property at night, snapping photos, even letting my chickens loose just to call it unsanitary. I started doubting myself. Was I being stubborn? Was holding on to this land worth the stress? Some nights I sat on the dock with a beer staring at the lake, wondering if selling out would finally let me breathe. Then Jake Morrison knocked on my door. 68 years old, built like a tree stump, eyes that had seen more fights than he ever wanted. He laid out a manila folder, thicker than a phone book. "Son, you're in more trouble than you think, but you're sitting on more power than they'll ever admit." Inside were documents, property records and corporation papers, leaked emails. Golden Shore had offered $8 million months earlier, rejected by my grandfather's estate attorney. When I refused again, they created Lakeside Meadows HOA with Nine as their figurehead. Her husband, CFO of Golden Shore. It wasn't neighborhood standards they cared about. It was my land. Jake showed me something else. My grandfather's deed included riparian rights, legal control of part of the lake, and an easement where the community's main water supply ran through my property. Translation, without me, 200 luxury homes had no water. Suddenly, I wasn't just a nuisance neighbor. I was the one holding the lever that could drain their entire kingdom. Just when I thought it couldn't get dirtier, a package landed at my door. No return address. Inside a contract. Golden Shore promised Nan $12 million if she could force me to sell under 6. $12 million for her eviction for me. I remember my hands shaking as I read it. This wasn't paranoia anymore. It was black and white corruption spelled out in legal ink. The harassment escalated. More citations, more cops at my gate this time claiming anonymous reports of health hazards. Officer Bradley, the young cop always dragged along, pulled me aside one day and whispered, "Document everything. This isn't normal." That small bit of honesty was enough fuel to keep me going. I set up high-definition cameras, night vision audio recording. And sure enough, at 2 a.m., I caught Nain's goons sneaking around with surveying equipment, planting stakes, even picking the lock on my chicken coop to stage filth. Every second of it went to cloud storage. Evidence. My defense file was growing thicker by the day. Still, there were nights I broke. Nights I wondered if fighting a machine this big was suicide. Nain had money lawyers, county officials in her pocket. I had a creaky cabin and a stubborn streak. But every time I looked at that lake, I heard my grandfather's voice. Land by the water gives you rights nobody can take. He'd been right all along, and I wasn't about to let his legacy be bulldozed into a casino parking lot. Then came the HOA meeting. Nain called every homeowner to the community center, dressed it up as a talk about protecting property values. 60 residents showed. She opened with slides of my Place Chicken's pickup truck vegetable garden, twisting each into proof I was dragging them down. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. That's when she overplayed her hand. With all the arrogance in the world, she said, "This eyesore will be gone by year's end. We've invested too much to let one selfish man ruin us." I stood up from the back row briefcase in hand camera rolling. The room fell silent. I walked to the front set of the case on the podium and pulled out documents one by one, the deed, the 1952 survey maps, the water rights, and finally the leaked contract with her $12 million payday. "What she hasn't told you," I said, voice steady but burning inside, "is that your president is being paid to drive me out so Golden Shore can build a casino resort. You think she's protecting your values? She's cashing out on your future." Gasps. Shouts. Faces turned on her. Board members panicked. Nain tried to claw back control, but then she made her second fatal mistake. She screamed, "We have every right to pursue development opportunities. We won't let one stubborn owner destroy our plans." That was it. Admission of conspiracy in front of 60 witnesses recorded on my phone. The meeting collapsed into chaos. I walked out with the briefcase, her glare stabbing holes in my back. At the door, she grabbed my arm, hissed in my ear, "You have no idea who you're dealing with." The very next day, she tried to frame me. Her guards staged an assault, one of them throwing himself backward at my gate and screaming I'd attacked him. Unfortunately for them, my cameras caught the entire setup, including the part where they rehearsed it beforehand. Sheriff Rodriguez arrived, saw the footage, and his face went pale. This wasn't harassment anymore. It was criminal. When Nain realized framing me had failed, she went lower. She called. Jake offered him $750,000 to disappear. Jake recorded the whole conversation, her voice silky, promising him a generous settlement to avoid complications. That tape, combined with everything else, was dynamite. We handed it all to Rodriguez, and within days the FBI was involved. One crisp Colorado morning, the sirens finally weren't for me. They were for her. Federal agents swarmed Golden Shore's offices, Nain's pristine house, and the HOA board. The conspiracy unraveled in broad daylight. Fraud, racketeering, bribery, tampering with utilities, they threw the book at her. The image of her being led out in handcuffs burned into my memory like sunrise over the lake. And that's where I'll leave it. After months of threats, fines, trespassing, and lies, the woman who swore I'd regret my choices was marched off to face justice. Here's the truth I learned: power only works if you're too scared to fight back.